Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Hush No More with Dr. Vanessa, where we talk about the truth. We don't hold back. We expose. We talk about it because it is important that we talk about the hush topics. And as you know, I call them hush topics because we don't talk about them: sexual assault, domestic violence, human trafficking, child sexual abuse, all of those crazy things that we really have to talk about because awareness plus knowledge equals prevention. How can you prevent something that you don't know about? So that's what we talk about here on Hush No More with Dr. Vanessa. Before I start, I want to talk about my two sponsors who are amazing to me. Podcasters live off of sponsors. Like, if you don't support us, then we really don't know how we're going to be able to get everything that we need to be able to have our show. So, for me, CTR Media Network is our media sponsor. Our show is on their platform. So, we get over 2 million views on CTR Media Network. If you're interested in doing a podcast or just learning more about them, go to their website or go to their Facebook page or IG page because they are amazing. Thank you, Dr. Tina. And then my next sponsor, I'm gonna show her product first. Cocoa wax, right? It's amazing. Y'all, can y'all see that wick? It is coconut, right? I absolutely love coconut. Um, Lynn is amazing. It's organic coconut wax, right? And I met her in Las Vegas last week, and she was amazing. Y'all hear my dog? I have a service animal, so ignore my dog. Um, Perfect bottle. She is going to donate to our boat ride, and y'all know that's coming up. We're going to be on a yacht, and she is going to have candles on our yacht, and I'm so grateful for that. And that is April the 4th, and I'll make sure that I drop information. So thank you, Cocoa Wax, and y'all check out their products. Please check out their products. They smell really good. This is apple spice bourbon, and I don't drink alcohol anymore. Normally, I can smell alcohol, and there is no alcohol in this. So, all right. So let me get to my guests. I have the privilege, the honor of having the amazing Myra Strand with me. Oh, y'all, I love Myra. I'm so excited we're finally getting to do this. I've known her for years, and I want her to just share a little bit about herself, of who she is, and why it's so important that you know her.
All right. Well, honestly, it is such an honor to be on this show. I love working with you, Dr. Guyton. I mean, you just do so you light up a room. So I'm so grateful to be here. Um, I guess a little bit about me. My name's Myra Strand. I've been in the field of trauma and victimization in one way or another since the mid 1990s. And I currently own my own consulting company called Strand Squared. I own it alongside my husband. I like to scuba dive. I am an acrylic artist. And yeah, I just do a lot of advocacy and do a lot of training.
Okay. You do a lot. You do a lot in the field of advocacy, and I'm always impressed with you and your husband. Both of y'all are doing some amazing things, and I'm really upset that my dog decides that he wants to bark today. He never barks.
Well, he's just trying to be part of this
Does he
show.
want to be part of the show? Bear wants to be part of the show today, so I'm
Participate.
not gonna trip. I'm not gonna trip. Y'all, I love when people do things for me that is very, very nice and sweet. So for those that are on Spotify or on Apple, you won't be able to see this, but I have a beautiful box that's called Ground the Nervous System. Y'all see this? And what Myra has created, and we were going to talk about that before we talked about Epstein. She has created these amazing cards to help you with anxiety when you need to be grounded, when you're stressed out. And I'm just in love. Can y'all see these? Can y'all see these cards? Can you explain the cards, Myra, and why did you create them and how can they help people?
Well, I drew from existing literature to bring ideas together for these cards. Basically, what they're for is our premier training is my husband and I teach forensic interviewing. We have a class called human centric interviewing, and one of the modules in our class is centered around self-regulation and co-regulation because frankly, for interviewing, for safety planning, for case management, for treatment planning, conflict resolution, all those things that we do with people, if they're calm and we're calm, and we're grounded, the process is going to go so much smoother. Like it's just going to be so much easier to do this kind of work if everybody in the room is calm. And sometimes when people are in crisis, they go outside their window of tolerance and they maybe go into hyperarousal or into hypoarousal. They get super stressed out or they get really low. And sometimes you need to actually step into that space and say, okay, let's do some breathing, or let's go for a walk around the building, or maybe get a cold pack and put it on your neck. There's 75 different things you can do to reground the nervous system. So that's what the cards are for, really, is for first responders to start becoming familiar with the mechanisms of grounding. So then that way they can be calm, but they can help other people be calm too.
Yeah. Can victims, would you recommend that victims purchase this, or anyone that's dealing with anxiety?
Oh, definitely. I think that self-regulation is so important for anybody, really, right?
Mhm.
I mean, I wish I would have learned about it a long time ago. I mean, I'm just barely in at the point where I can notice when I'm starting to stress out and I can actually take control of that affect and be in charge of my own energy. But it did take a couple years to do that, right? To really learn how to be conscious of where I'm at and then bring myself to a place where I'm grounded and solid.
I like that. I've had clients call me and they're hyperventilating, and I'm like, pull over, pull
Mhm.
over, take off your shoes, get out of the car, and step in the grass. That's like
Yeah.
my go-to. Go
Yeah.
find a tree really quickly because you cannot drive and you're hyperventilating, you're stressed out, right? I was looking through the cards, and this one says your safe space, right?
Mhm.
Visualize a safe space serves as a mental refuge, allowing individuals to create a supportive environment for in one for an on-the-spot retreat to reduce anxiety and stress. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, feel your body, let go of tension with each exhale. Imagine a place that brings you comfort, real or imagined. Engage your senses. What do you see, hear, smell, taste, or feel? That right there can slow you down. It can
Yeah.
slow you down, and just feeling that you're safe. And I remember the first time that I started telling myself, Vanessa, you're safe. That is big, to talk to your subconscious mind,
Mhm.
use your
Mhm.
card. So we're going to have the link as well, y'all, so that you could check this out. We were going to talk about just holistic ways, and Myra, you'll come back to talk about that. But
Okay.
I value these. I think they are so amazing. Our next retreat, we're doing a military sexual trauma retreat in April, and we're going to
Mhm.
use these. And I'm going to ask the ladies to review them for you and tell everyone how they really work, because
That's awesome.
and I hope that y'all heard the safe space. So that is just one thing that you can do when you're having a difficult day, having a hard time breathe, is the safe space. Okay,
Well,
so
if you need a few more decks, I'm happy to send them to you. You should just tell me how many are coming, and I'll send you that many. Then that way everybody can walk away with their own.
oh, look at that. That is so
Your
sweet.
sponsors.
I told y'all why I needed to have Myra here. And especially for military sexual trauma, for all
Yeah.
trauma. But
Yeah.
in space, we didn't learn that in the military. Like that is very foreign to us. So I thank you for the work that you're doing. All right. So people
Thank
are
you.
coming on because we about to talk. We about to talk tonight about Jeffrey Epstein. And I say Epstein. I don't care if I mess up his name or not. I'm really not a fan. As
Mm-mm.
you all can tell. And I call abusers like creeps, right? That's just my name because I think it upsets them and they don't like it. So I wanted to talk about that today, and me and Myra always have the best conversations. We haven't talked about it yet. And so I want to know like what she thought. I want to share what I thought, and we want to know what you think in the audience. Okay. That is big because your opinion matters, how you feel matters. And that's what we're going to talk about. Right. So let me tell y'all who Jeffrey is. He don't even deserve me to talk about his last name. He's a child sex offender. He's a serial rapist. He's a human trafficker. He was a piece of crap, right? And I still speak in this space because even though he died, he committed suicide, and that's up. We don't even think that he really committed suicide, but that's no proof, right? He was rich and he was a financer, and he socialized with all the rich people. He made rich people money. He had his own private island, and people would go to the Epstein Island. They would go hang out there and party, right? Um, the thing that bothers me the most is that he has years of abuse that he pretty much got away with. In 2005, that was the first time that the police started really investigating him publicly and talking about it, because a parent came forward, which I always talk to parents
Mhm.
about their 14-year-old daughter, that they thought was being abused, right? And she was, right? And that was in 2005. What I was upset about was that he only served 13 months for sexually abusing a 14-year-old, right? Still making friends with the elite. People know that this is his background, right? So when you come and tell me, oh, I didn't know this about him, he's a convicted felon. And when you're rich, you got to be careful who you socialize with. So every socialization was intentional, right? Since 2005, 2008, and 2009, same thing, right? They found out that he was messing with little girls again, children under the age of 18, right? The attorney general in Florida did not prosecute him for this, right? They asked him to say that he was guilty and he got lesser charges, but essentially he got away with it, right? Once again, he was still doing it, y'all. And that's a problem for me. When they start investigating, they know for a fact that he was, I'm gonna say rape because I don't like the word molestation. It's rape, right? 36 girls, 36 girls. Oh. And they don't really talk about this about the victim. They just talk about like the rich people, but I think that the victims are important. And then in 2019, he finally got caught again federally, right? They put him in jail for sex trafficking, and he died 2019 due to suicide. But I still think that people had something to do with that because they didn't want their name to come out on that list. And he had agreed that he was going to start testifying and telling. So as we know, over 3 million documents have been released. They still have more to release. And that is Jeffrey. So
There's so
that's
much. So much.
so much. And so historically, he already had been showing out, y'all. It's not like this is new, right? Kim said she would use your cards for I didn't see that. Kim said she would use your cards for anxiety. So I'll definitely, she lives in Colombia, so we're gonna do some things together. Right?
Good, excellent. You know, one of the things, Dr. G, that we should be aware of is that the first report on Jeffrey Epstein was in 1996 with Marie Farmer. That was the first time. Before that, 1996 was the first time. And Department of Justice is now starting to estimate that there might be closer to 1,200 victims. 1,200 victims. There's 35 really vocal ones who have made like a real big impact, but there's closer to 1,200. 100 victims received restitution after he died. 23 have made public statements. Many of the victims are boys.
And they only talk about the girls. Like when you really
only talk about the girls, but there's so many little boys there. There were so many boys, and I think that that's important that we acknowledge the male victims that are in this space because it's so important. You know how long it takes a male to disclose that they experienced rape in their life on average? Like 25 years. If a male even tells anybody that they experienced that, it usually takes more than 2 decades for them to disclose. That's a real problem.
It is. And the fact that they don't feel safe. Society doesn't allow you to feel safe to come forward. That's a problem, right? To me.
Yeah.
That's why they don't. Marshana said that she went through sexual assault in October. I honor you. Thank you for sharing with us, because I think sometimes people don't realize like how real this is and how individuals in our community really are, struggling and going through some things. So thank you for sharing that. All right. I didn't even see the 1996. So thank you for that part. Do you think that if they'd have been more vigilant about actually holding him accountable, that we wouldn't have got to the 1,200 victims? Estimate, because I feel like it's more than that.
I think that he has been protected for a really long time. I mean, when we look at the 2006 investigation and when he did receive a jail sentence, his jail sentence is super sketch. I mean, he was awarded his own wing in the detention center. He was allowed work release. So he was out of the jail 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, where he was taken home. He had private deputies that he was paying from his own foundation. He would just go into his home. Nobody knew what he was actually doing while he was in there, but most of the time he was just at home. According to Virginia Guffey, in her book Nobody's Girl, she talked about how he just kept on trafficking and doing whatever he felt like doing during that time period while he was in jail. But what was really interesting was the attorney the prosecutor who arranged that deal for him was Jose Acosta. And later, during the Trump administration, President Trump gave Jose Acosta the position of Secretary of Labor. Now, interestingly enough, the Labor Department is partially in charge of human trafficking, right? And the
Yeah.
reason why they picked Jeffrey Epstein up again was because they brought up another appeal that Jose Acosta had violated crime victims' rights during that deal. So they picked him up again. And so he was facing 45 years when he died.
And that's why I felt like he really was going to start telling. Because that's what he always did. He always got deals. He always pretty much snitched, right? He always did that. And
Mm-hmm.
and they did little cover-ups and they had little buddies. And
Yeah.
to me, the problem is that you're rich. You're rich. That is the problem for me, is that when you have money, you can circumvent the whole entire system. The whole entire system. And
I
I'm
mean,
struggling.
they certainly treated the world as if it was their own personal playground. And looking at the documents as they're coming out, there are definitely a lot of things way beyond trafficking that are really like we're looking at possible murders, right?
Mhm.
Possible sacrifices. Like there's actual things in the documents that are alluding to way more I mean, trafficking is as sinister as it gets. But there's a whole nother layer in some of these documents that are really pointing to something even worse, even darker.
Mhm. 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 That we can't imagine or they don't want to talk about.
Right.
But they don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
That this whole thing is just disgusting, and the fact that these rich elite folks are covering or trying to cover it up makes it even more disheartening. It is. That's the hardest part.
3 named presidents. 3.
Right. Three, and then we know that they were all hanging out together on the yacht and
Yep.
partying. Tanisha
Yep.
said, no, because he has major names to reveal. A lot of there was a lot of names to reveal, and they're still coming out. How
Yes,
did
yep.
you feel? He was in bed with the Russians. He was. They looked at the emails and the conversations. Kim
Mhm.
said that just shows you how Trump is all a part of this cover up to protect himself. He said today and yesterday and the day before that and all of this that he has nothing to do with it, right? Um,
He's listed thousands of times in the documents, and, honestly, like, I don't know, maybe I'll get picked up by ICE for saying something like this, but Donald Trump has a lot of known victims. Like he's already been found guilty in civil court for several sexual assaults. He's already awarded. I mean, Jean Carroll herself got almost $90 million in civil court because of the things that he did. Ivana Trump, his first wife, said that she was experiencing domestic violence to the point where he pulled out some of her hair. I mean, he's got her buried in a golf course.
mhm, mhm.
Many victims, more than 25 victims, at this point.
Mhm. And the fact that people just act like it's not true. Like
Yeah,
I do not understand, which leads to why our sexual assault programs in the federal government and our equal opportunity programs are not being funded.
right.
Because at the top, you don't think that sexual assault and sexual harassment is wrong, then what's going to happen at the bottom, right? And so
Exactly.
it really does bother me that we have leaders and rich people and the same people that were on the island with him literally are in government office.
Yeah.
It's they hang together, they support each other, they cover up together, and I get upset with Congress. I feel like they're not doing enough.
No,
That you can go.
yeah, I mean, they're definitely not doing enough. They're definitely covering up and participating in all that. I don't know. I mean, I think maybe what are they worried about that they're gonna that they don't know what to do? I don't know. I'm not really sure what's happening. with a lot of those folks. I mean, honestly, I was flabbergasted when Trump was first elected in 2016 because of the Epstein files. Like, it was already very clear at that time period that at this point I have no idea what these people are thinking or what they're hiding or what their level of participation is.
Mhm. It makes us, it's confusing. Like, how can you have that background and still people vote for you? I don't know. I don't know. And they act like it's not real. And
Mhm.
some people are just really delusional because it is real. He has victims that have came forward. And I don't think people just want to believe. It's almost like they have rose-colored glasses to
Yeah.
cover up. But when you see that a lot of this could have been prevented, right?
Yeah.
Um, what do you think about the redacted a lot of the information? What do you think about that?
It's so frustrating because they covered the information to protect the perpetrators, but yet the victims' names and some of their pictures are still there. I mean, there are pictures of unclothed children in those files right now without any kind of protection, yet they're protecting the perpetrators, many of them,
Mhm.
right? It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating because it's clear that they just kind of went through and did it really fast. Some of the redactions weren't even done professionally. Like, I was looking on TikTok and there was a guy who was just like, well, all you have to do is put it in here and change it to a PDF and the redactions fall off. So it wasn't even like professionally done.
Mhm.
It's just so frustrating.
When you look at victim names, it's almost a form of not almost, it is.
Mhm.
It's re-victimizing them again. It's exposing their story because they haven't told, and it's not fair that somebody comes forward and share your story for you, right?
Yeah,
And share your pictures. And some people don't even know that these individuals are victims. And so you're right. They protected the ones that they wanted to protect and then exposed the victims.
yeah,
That's very disheartening. Very
yeah,
disheartening.
yeah.
Okay. Russ says this is not a Democrat or Republican issue. It is a class issue. They want us to fight among ourselves instead of see the truth. The elites control everything, including messages and accountability.
Mhm.
They do, right. I'm not like I'm mad at the Democrats. I'm mad at
No,
Republicans.
no.
I feel like maybe my thing is maybe you got something on them so they can't come forward. That
Yeah.
gotta be it. You gotta have something on them that they can't come forward and stand up for what's right. That's what we voted for them for, to stand up for what's right. And it is a class issue.
One of the things I've been marinating on and thinking about a lot lately is I'm wondering if this is actually something that's unusual or if we as a community are just waking up. Because we already know, historically speaking, that George Washington was trafficking girls. We
Yeah.
already know that Thomas Jefferson had Sally Hemings, right, a slave who was given to him at her birth, right? Like he owned her his whole life, right? Like, this is more of a norm. I think that if we go back through history and start looking at that seat of the presidency and some of the power that comes with being very wealthy, I think we would find a lot of this sinister kind of behavior, right? I mean, when we look at history, we've got slavery, we've got relocation, we've got the Japanese internment camps, everything that happened with the Indian boarding schools. Maybe we're just being exposed to this in a new way. Like, maybe with because of communication and technology, we're able to see it in a way that we never have been before.
Mhm. We can. Social media allows
Yeah,
us, the news allows us to see cable.
yeah,
We're way more informed now.
yeah.
Tanisha said we didn't think anyone was going to read all the documents. I haven't read. Did you read any of it, Myra? Have you read like a few of it?
I've been going through some of the documents every day, spending some time diving through and just seeing because I need to see it with my own eyes. But it's hard, like, I don't know if you've ever combed through Discovery before. I mean, it's just a lot of documents. There's just a lot in there, and then the mechanism itself is super clunky, right? So you get in and you start finding something, and then you go to click back, and then it sends you back to the beginning, and you're like, "Ah," right? But every day I've been making my way through and seeing stuff. But I'm also following a lot of people who are making their way through as well, right? Because other people are posting document numbers, so you can actually like trace them easier once you have the document numbers. So that helps the process a lot.
So for me, I tried and I just can't. I can't. Like,
Mhm.
I get mad. I'm that
Mhm.
advocate. I like to fight. I like and not physically because I'm too cute to be fighting, but I'm gonna use my voice, right? I'm going to be standing up for people, and it just hurts. It broke my heart, and it's just like I don't need to read everything because I know it's real.
Yeah.
Like it's there for us, and I just hate that they took some of it out, and they're still taking it out. I'm talking about government security.
Yeah.
And
True.
that's the basis of government security, and I didn't think that that was fair for them to be able to say that that was the reason. Okay.
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
Okay. Ghislaine Maxwell. Did I say her name right?
Yes, Ghislaine Maxwell.
No, I'm country. I'll mess your name up, right? Of the partner of Jeffrey, right?
Mhm.
Um, she was a British socialite, was helping him trap girls and women, and now she's in prison for 20 years. What did you think about her? Because like woman to woman, I get mad when another woman hurts another one. Like we're supposed to be there for each other and support each other, especially up against men that are abusing us. So what do you feel about her?
I feel like, well, I read Virginia Guffrey's book, and Virginia spent a lot of time talking about Ghislaine. She's a piece of work. She's manipulative, she's awful, she's cruel. In 1996, when Marie Farmer made her first report on Jeffrey Epstein, it was actually a co-report, and she reported Ghislaine Maxwell at that time. Jeffrey and Ghislaine met each other because of Ghislaine Maxwell's father. I'm not really sure what kind of role he plays in all of this, but it seems like her father plays some kind of weird role in this. I don't know what it is yet. But it's not going to surprise me when he comes out playing some kind of something. I mean, Ghislaine Maxwell's father gave Jeffrey Epstein a job teaching at a school, but Jeffrey hadn't even finished college and wasn't
Never
qualified
agreed.
for this, right? So it's just weird things like that. But she was definitely participating in grooming victims. She's the one who went to Mar-a-Lago and groomed Virginia Guffrey and brought her to Jeffrey, and she describes the whole experience. Actually, several victims have described the same process in which Ghislaine brought them forward and said, "Oh, I've got this wealthy man, and he's gonna send you to school, and he likes to be massaged, so you're gonna be a massage therapist." And she would go in there and hands on teach them what to do and how to handle his body, and then make fun of them if they felt shy or coy or afraid, right? And then she would dive in there as well. Like she was actually sexually abusing the victims as well. Like she was participating in all of that. And now she's in prison. She was in a maximum security prison, but they Donald Trump gave her a pathway to a lesser prison. So she's in a nicer prison. She's got a puppy. She's holding on to some information and trying to negotiate a way out for herself. She's
Mhm,
snaky. She's super snaky.
mhm. She holding the information.
Yep.
And and how they gonna put you in a nice coat? That's I get upset in our community where in our country and in our judicial system that money determines how you get out, if you're
Yeah.
gonna be on probation, if you're gonna be in a nice facility, and it's not fair.
It's
Frankly,
not fair.
it's not. She said they share what they want, and we look at and see what they and we look and see what they want us to. Unfortunately, yeah, it's
Yep.
almost like they control us. I'm not controlled no more because I be going around. I be wanting to see the truth, but it
Mhm.
does feel like that. And she also says she need to stay right where she at in prison. But
Yep.
20 years is not enough. When you abuse multiple women and girls, and I didn't see anything about the little boys, but it probably was boys too. And
Mhm.
um, that's all you get because you're covering
Yep.
up nicks. And so as a woman, I want to look at another woman and say she got my back. We should be able to trust each other.
Yeah, but
I
that makes her so successful at her job.
right, right.
Mhm.
Because we trust her because she's a woman and she's
Yeah.
beautiful, right?
Yes.
Sweet and
She's
nice.
she's funny, and she's Virginia talked about how she made her feel important and beautiful and talented, right? Classic groomer, classic groomer.
And I don't think that people understand what that looks like. and
Mm.
understand why people don't leave. If
Mm.
I am loving on you, making you feel good, being your friend, and I trust you, it's hard for them to leave, right? It's
Yep.
not easy for them to just say, I'm leaving, because they think that they are being loved. They
Yep.
think they're cared about. And that whole victimology mindset, it's important for people to understand that and not judge and say, well, why they didn't leave? Why they didn't fight back? It's not that simple when someone
Yep.
is playing with your mind.
Yep.
You say she should be in a hole, in a hellhole. And we can't trust these people. You can't.
Mm-mm.
You trust certain people, and you really have to do your background.
Nope. And then with Virginia Guffrey's story, she talked about how early on in her abuse, when it first started happening, Jeffrey and Ghislaine pulled her aside and they busted out a picture of her little brother. And they busted out. They're just like, "This is your little brother, right? Like this is where he lives. This is where he's at. This is your little brother. Hmm. All right, you're gonna do what we want you to do, but we've got your little brother."
But we got your little brother.
Yeah. That's a special kind of mean, like using somebody's love against them.
Mhm.
Because that's all she had was her little brother.
With her little brother, and those are the ones that they go after. Is the ones who don't have a lot of family, or nobody's paying attention to them, or
Yep.
sometimes the ones who are running away, or they get in trouble in school. Um,
Mhm.
go after them. You know.
Yeah. Or with kids that are really vulnerable. I mean, with Ghislaine Maxwell also, right? Her father was raping her, and her father's best friend was raping her.
Mhm.
And so she was already, like, super vulnerable. She didn't have parents that she could count on. Her mom knew that what was happening and blamed her for it. So she didn't have a support network. And the first time that she was massaging Jeffrey Epstein, that's what he was asking her about, her support network. Who do you have family? Do you have friends? Who looks out for you? Right? He was going through finding out how vulnerable is this person, and he was very purposeful with it. And he
Very.
found somebody who was super vulnerable, poly-victimization.
And you'd be like, what? They know exactly what they're doing. And he'd been doing this for so many years, so many
Yeah,
victims. So he had got good at it. They knew. They
really good.
knew. My thing is, if you know that somebody's doing it, and then you still friends with them, you're wrong.
One
Russ,
thing I did find in the documents this morning, and I don't know how they got there, I'd have to look at it, but there was a whole collection of documents. They were academic articles on child abuse grooming behaviors.
you got to send me that. So I can look at it. Yeah. And they actually can use these cases to help us come up with more training.
Yeah,
That's what I've been looking at it for. Like, how can I use this sociopath, this sick creep information and his behaviors to help parents and children to not get caught up in this?
yep,
Russell said, my greatest concern is how many Epsteins are currently out there. This cover up is something that is still happening and others are still being harmed. Concern, and it's scary.
yep. Because it's
It's,
about supply and demand.
mhm.
There's
It's
clearly a demand.
a very high demand, which is why also you can go to your own island so you can bring everybody to your island and not get caught. That's crazy to me that you're so rich you got an island that you can abuse children.
Yeah,
Um, Dr. Juanita said, I haven't been able to wrap my mind around how some survivors could support this president, knowing the harm he committed and the support he gave to Epstein. I don't understand that either.
I
How?
think I think sometimes there's a division of information. Right? Like, I think our social medias have this algorithm that tell us what we wanna see, and I think sometimes other people, they're seeing a completely different set of news. It's like we're existing in different realities. I don't know. It's
I
weird.
don't, but it do, because I'm like, how can you think that? One of our we have Lindsey Graham here,
Mhm.
and women vote for him. And I don't understand. In our state, I live in South Carolina, right? I don't understand. Why would you vote for a man that do not support women at
Mhm.
all? Like, and then they still vote for him. And I'm just confused about how people can't see who people are. Even when
Yeah,
they tell you, even when they vote and they show you their vote and they show you that they're voting against women or against abuse and they're not supporting domestic violence programs or they're not supporting funding, why would you vote for them again? I don't understand.
right. I don't either.
Yeah, Angela said it's a shame. It's a darn right, a darn right shame because The evidence is there. You could go, and when I get ready to vote for somebody, I go and look at their voting history
Mhm.
without a shadow of a doubt. Are they supporting, 'cause especially with the work that I do they
Mhm.
support victims? Do they support programs for them? And also, do they support veterans? Because I'm a veteran. So I always vote based
Yep.
on what's good for me and my household.
Of
But
course, of
I look
course.
at, like, are you just a regular human? Oh, Kim said Lindsay, Tim Scott, and Alan Wilson. Alan Wilson is our attorney general. Same thing. So even our human trafficking reports don't be accurate, and they can get mad at me. People don't report human trafficking, and so you can't
Yeah,
say that numbers are getting better because they're not reporting. Because then parents and families and friends have a false sense of security
yeah,
when you tell us that it's getting better, and we know it's not getting better, and you're not seeing the clients because they're not coming to you all because of that.
yeah.
So at my state, we got a big problem with them covering it up and not being honest about human trafficking and just rape. To me, it's just rape. Human trafficking is rape, where we move somebody.
Again and again and again. You know, according to the Arizona Sex Trafficking Intervention Research Lab, the average victim of trafficking experiences rape 8,000 times.
Can you believe that?
Hmm.
That's multiple times a day.
Yeah, I mean that's
Multiple
five,
times.
6, 7 times a day,
Mhm,
plus strangulation, plus all the other things that come in that world.
mhm.
Lots of violence.
And people just seem to pass it by, or because it's not happening to them or to their family. But that is what all of this is about. Like, you don't really hear them talking about it from that broad perspective. Um, they talk about it from like a money perspective. It's kind of weird. And all they want to talk about is the rich people that they're about to catch. They're
Mhm.
not really thinking about the victims. Kim said Lindsay changed his platform to align more with Trump after they became butt buddies. I could see that. And Angela said they hid those stats. The stats be there, but they don't report them, Angela, or they minimize them, or especially when they're doing it from a state because they don't want the state to say, "Oh, we have a problem here."
Mhm.
But I'm big. This matter of fact, this Saturday at the State House in South Carolina, I'm speaking. Investigator Chandra Cleveland is hosting an event, human trafficking awareness. We had to move it because of the snowstorm, but I'm real big talking about the truth and that in our state we have I-95, I-20, I-77, and I-26 that comes across South Carolina. We have very high rates of human trafficking, but every time you hear the reports, they say that it's going down. No, it's not. And
Mhm.
I keep telling parents, stop believing that. It's not.
Mhm.
You better pay attention because it's not.
Yep. More reporting is good reporting. I mean, it's just like when you're looking for a college for your kid to go to, right? You look at the sexual assault rates. If the college is reporting really low rates, that just means that they don't have a good mechanism in place to effectively investigate, right? You want to go for the colleges that have high rates because at least they're working those cases.
They're tracking them, they're honest, they're reporting them, they're not covering them up.
Yep.
Right. And so they get mad at me because I just tell the truth. When I was at the University of South Carolina, I taught grad, and so
Mhm.
those students didn't get like sexual assault 101, right? They didn't get the 101 class. So they're
Yeah.
coming to class and they have no idea about how do you report, who do you go talk to, because they're grad students, so you really do, as parents, pay attention to the college programs and what they're doing and how they're tracking them and what that looks like. So thank you for bringing that up
Yeah.
because it's big.
It's a
And
huge deal.
mhm, mhm,
It's a huge deal.
and we don't even know. So I get all, I know I sound like da, 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 da. I feel like I'm just running, 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 right?
Mhm.
um, what do you think with victims? What do you think is some of the major problems with this and their names being shared? What do you think?
Well, I think it just depends because prior to the documents being released, um, many of the victims that have been very vocal, the 35 at least that have been speaking very publicly, all came together and signed a document saying that they don't care if their name is redacted or not. They just want the documents released, right? And so I'm not really sure how that plays out because if we know that there's 1,200 different victims, then there's obviously going to be so many victims that are named. But then there's also going to be a lot of victims who nobody like that just went missing, right? Because there is a lot of assertions of people just going missing. Um, so maybe, maybe we'll be able to find some of them because of that. Because now you've got thousands of people combing through these documents. That in and of itself presents its own problems, though, because there's all these interpretations, and I imagine the investigation is going to get super messy because of the handling of information. It's just such a mess. It's so frustrating to watch all these things happen. So for some of the victims, to answer your question, some of them have already said it's okay. Others of them have not said it's okay, and that's a real problem for them because they're going to be outed in their communities if they didn't want to be outed. But then some of them maybe will be able to find people who have been missing that we didn't even know were part of all of this, that just are on missing lists.
Mhm. For me, being a sexual assault survivor,
Mhm.
I didn't want nobody to know.
Mhm.
Period. Because of the shame, the guilt, right? People judging me, talking
Mhm.
about me, saying, "Oh, she should have did this," not believing me. It's like this whole mental spin that just goes on. You're like you're up and down, you're up and down, and then
Mhm.
you're wondering who's going to know, and like, well, if I never told my parents, what's going to happen when my parents find out? Or my friends, or my husband that I'm married now, or my wife I'm married,
Yeah.
and I never told them. So I just see like the bigger picture.
Mhm.
I didn't understand why the victims' names weren't redacted and some of the creeps' names were. It's like the opposite.
Yeah.
And I know I would never want nobody. I believe in deciding to hush no more, 100%. But I think it's on your own terms and your own timing, not when
Yep.
you force me because it's on the news. Not when I've tried to suppress it and hide it, and now the whole world knows.
Yep.
And I used to always say, how did Hillary Clinton make it knowing that the whole world knew that her husband cheated on her? Like, it's horrible. Like when like something happens to you in just your community and your household, but now everybody in the world knows. How does that make them feel? And
Yeah.
it's just very unfair. So I have a hard time from my own space of not understanding how did that feel. Kim says it's a lot of shame you feel, so I definitely understand what you're feeling, Vanessa. I can definitely relate. Thank you, Kim. I honor you. So I don't really know how to feel about a victim already being outed.
Yeah.
I'm being hush no more, but I just think it's their own timing, and I always encourage people when they're ready to share their
Mhm.
and this wasn't a time that people were ready. Kim said it bothers her the most is when it comes to the celebrities or rich elite people, folks will blame the victim and side with these celebrities or people with power. It burns me up hearing women, especially, side with these celebrity folks, even when the evidence is in their face. Yeah,
It's so weird. It's so weird when people are just like, "Oh, that celebrity would never do that." Like, you don't even know this person. Like, why would you side with this random celebrity, right? Like, you don't even know them. I mean, it reminds me of the, first Bill Cosby trial when some of the jurors were just like, "Dr. Huxtable would never do that." And you're just like, "Dr. Huxtable isn't real," right? Like, that's not even a real person. Like, the cognitive dissonance is pretty extreme with, celebrity worship.
my family was mad at me because they love Bill Cosby. And
Mhm.
I was like, he's guilty. He's not guilty. I was like, read the deposition. He admitted to drugging and raping the women, which was dumb. He didn't have a good lawyer. The
Mm.
only thing I said, I do believe in a fair justice system. So I don't necessarily know that it was fair that they released everything and told him that they weren't, but he still was guilty. So, oh well, you got caught up in that. That was wrong from a justice system standpoint. But people don't believe it. And I'm like, this man admitted it. And they still was saying it's not true. So you better go look it up. You can Google it. You can Google the deposition.
Yep.
So, yeah, people don't. And it's like is it socialization of celebrities.
Yep.
Hello, Miss Bradley. Exactly. She said this is a mess. And I agree that it is a mess.
Mhm.
I would be terrified if I was on that list. I, I, I know I will be. I could tell you that. I would be like, "What? Everybody gonna know?" And so, yeah, just because
Yeah,
you're,
that would be scary.
yeah,
That would be scary. Jon Stewart, he got on. He was just like, my name was in the Epstein files because somebody had done an email saying maybe you should get somebody like Jon Stewart to do this. So somebody was talking about him like hosting a show. So he immediately got on there. He's just like, I
Right.
just want you
Now,
to
let
know
me tell y'all why. Right. Let me tell y'all why.
my name is on here. But that's what they were talking about me.
Yeah, I did see him say, "This is why my name." But people know who he is now even more. But
Mhm.
because they know. So in his case, it worked out.
Yeah.
What do you think that the victims should do? Like if they find themselves in this situation and their name in the files and they haven't told, what do you think? Like, what is things that you advise victims to kind of to do? The grounding, because I could see your cars working.
Definitely depending. I mean, I think that each person's circumstances is going to be so individual. I would recommend that they get themselves they connect with an advocate who can help them safety plan through this process. Right? I mean, some people are going to be in a circumstance where they're going to be able to protect themselves and some people are not. And they're going to need extra help through that. So I would recommend safety planning with somebody who's really good at helping to navigate that kind of emotional landscape because that's tough. You know, that's not for the folks who were not interested in being outed. This is a really complicated time period for them. And there's going to be a lot of people honestly who have their names in there that just happen to be like moving through the space but without participating or even knowing what was happening. And I think that that's also very sad because I think just being in the parties and participating in the parties, most people are gonna start thinking things about you, right? Your circles, who you run with. So I wonder about people who didn't actually know what was happening, but might have just been in proximity. I don't know.
Yeah. I think it's important to reach out. I think it's important to reach out for help. I think it's
Mhm.
important not to hold it in and not to just let it eat you up and do it alone. And but
Yeah,
finding the right person to talk to, finding a counselor, finding an advocate, like
yeah,
not just sitting on this and just worrying yourself to death, like, oh my God, my name is in the files, it's happened to me. And then you're just spiraling out. It
yeah.
is important to get help, even if you call the human trafficking hotline, the sexual assault hotline. Those people will talk to you, right? And to help you come up with a solution as well. So you're not in this alone. And that's what I want people to know,
Mhm.
that you don't have to sit in this by yourself and let your mind just wander. And then you lead to suicidal ideations or to suicide or to self harm, cutting, all of these things that we know that individuals do in a time like this. And I just think that people are really looking at the celebrities more than they are the victims, and that bothers me.
Yeah, I mean, they have been this whole time. You know, the nobody's really looking at the victims. Everybody's looking at the perpetrators and protecting them in many ways.
Hmm. Yeah, they protected them. Kim said Bill Cosby said again last week he bought pills to drug women, but people are still coming up with excuses like they went after him because he tried to buy NBC. I didn't see that, Kim. I didn't see that Bill Cosby was talking about it again. And he said it was to do PR for him, but he didn't even meet the guy. Oh, Stewart. That was about Stewart. That was about Stewart too. I just want to give people hope that it's possible to heal, even though when it's in the news and it's in the media and everybody's talking about it. And I also want people to think about that there's humans behind the files. There's
Mhm.
humans, there's boys and girls. Most of them are adults now because it's happened so many years. And so just to give grace and love to these individuals and not blaming them for what happened to them because you don't know what happened.
Yep.
And know that money really does rule our world. And it's a sad thing. I had a friend, he hurt my feelings a little bit, but he was right. And I hate to admit this. So he said, Vanessa, there's three things that it's hard to get rid of, and that's guns, money, and sex. And he says, because the rich people rule the world. And I was like, yeah, but we gotta fight. He was like, yeah, you keep fighting. He said, but there's some things that even if it's on the black market, it's gonna always be there. We just have a battle. But to love on people, to accept them, and to know that we're a safe space for them, and that our community needs to be a safe space.
Agreed, 100%.
That's
But we have to fight. We have to keep speaking up and keep participating and keep learning and keep evolving.
yep. And doing and I think I got my little pocket. I can't save the whole world, but
No,
I got a little pocket and I got a little responsibility that I can do. And I think we all have that responsibility. And I
yeah,
believe that awareness plus knowledge equals prevention. These parents had no clue that their children was trafficked by in this whole ring. And so parents, you have to stay vigilant and you have to talk to your kids about it and what does grooming look like.
yep.
So parents, that's big. Okay.
Well, I think one thing to consider is I do feel very hopeful, right? I mean, this is the first time in U.S. history that a sitting president is being called out like this for these kind of behaviors, right? I mean, it's the second time he's been in this chair, and the first time nobody would. I mean, I was talking about this in 2016, posting on Facebook and talking about Jeffrey Epstein, and people weren't having it. They were just like, no, that's not a thing. But now we're moving up and people are starting to generate energy around this, and I think that that in and of itself is very, very hopeful. Maybe there's a possibility that things can be different. Maybe things can change. Maybe we can have a different kind of government. Maybe we can get the money out of the seat and start having some integrity, but it requires all of us to stand up together and demand it.
Together, because it's hurtful to even think that it can't change,
It can
especially
change.
we do. And
Yeah.
and I just be feeling like we all have our part. We all
Yeah.
have our part. The safe spaces. We got to fight and create safe spaces for survivors, because even if it does happen, and I
Mhm.
think we have to be held accountable as citizens that are loving and kind.
Yeah. And the world is changing. You know, I think that we're gonna experience some crumbling and some falling down of big systems, but that has to happen. And that's hopeful to me because we can build up from the rubble, right? We can redo it. But I think there's more of us than there are of them. And I think that really when it comes down to it, it's all about that frequency, that love, that energy that you especially are so good at putting out there, right? It's about that loving heart, that vibration. That's what we have to build more of.
We have to. Well, that's what we have to do. Yeah, because I always believe if you're loving and kind to somebody, you won't rape them. The two don't go
Yeah.
together. Like,
They don't go together.
they don't go together. So, and that's big for me. To
Mhm.
let people know that there's so much more that we can do. So much more
Yeah,
that we can do. Okay.
and it's easy. It's easy. We just have to love. We just have to love.
Yeah, we do have to love. We can change this.
Yes, we can.
You, we can
Sí
change.
se puede.
We can. So as we get ready to close, Myra, thank you so very much for just being so open and honest and sharing your knowledge. Is there anything that you want to share before you can go? Like, what do you have coming up? How people can find you?
You know, I just wanna express my gratitude for being here in this show. I'm really honored to be on the show with you because I just think so highly of you and your big, beautiful heart. I just so grateful to be in this space. Um, yeah, you can go to my website at www.strandsquared.com. Email me, and I can be available for you if you're interested in more conversations about this particular topic. I'm doing a book club next. I think it's next week. Yeah, or on the 19th. On the 19th, February 19th, I'm doing a book club. You can click on this link with the National Advocate Credentialing Program, and we're going to be talking about Nobody's Girl, the book. And this was one of Jeffrey Epstein's. This was Virginia Guffrey. She was victimized by Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, and she came out as quite the voice. And she wrote this incredible book. Um, she has passed away. It was reported that she died by suicide, but interestingly enough, in the book, she asserted very clearly that she would never die by suicide, ever, ever, ever. Um, and she died shortly after the book was finished. So I don't know, there's some mystery there. But if you want to learn about that book, then come to the show. Come to the book club. We're
I'll be.
actually doing 4 book clubs this year. 4 book clubs, 4 different books.
I'll be there because I want to hear more about it because it's just intriguing to me to hear so much about it. Okay, and tell us about your cards again. Tell us about your
Okay.
amazing cards.
So these cards are available. We're selling them at cost. They're $32 plus shipping, but that's because we're just a mom and pop company. And so that's how much it costs us to produce them, and that's how much we're selling them. So you can go on the website and find them there. But the cards are really lovely. They have a lot of mechanisms. And, there's 75 different cards there. And, honestly, you're going to go through them and you're going to find like 5 or 6 that really work for you in your nervous system. But you still want to understand the other ones because what works for you isn't going to work for you, and what works for you isn't going to work for you, right? So you get what take works for you and your soul, but then you learn the other ones, so then that way you can help other people, and you can co-regulate, right? Like you can help other people be grounded too. Like we learn these tools, but then we turn around and we share what we've learned, right? That's how we're going to change and create more love in the world.
I think too, our kids. Nobody taught me about grounding or meditating. Or I knew prayer. The gratitude is in here. You really can do these with your kids too, and
Oh,
teaching them.
yeah.
So yeah, like I have like so many ideas. You can take school teachers could use these. Be like, all right,
Yeah.
let's calm down in the classroom. So I'm hoping that it gets really big for you and Russ, and that you're able to share this with more organizations and more people because
Mhm.
we need this. It's very important, and so thank you for that. And so I am
It,
really.
it, it's my favorite thing about Vanessa too.
Oh Lord. I think my kids are starting to like me more now. You know, when your kids are little, they're grown now, so I think they can see the smile in me. Um,
Yeah.
and thank y'all for
Thank
all of y'all conversations. Kim, I'm excited about the cards too, and I'm going to let you see them and see what we could do. And oh yeah, Kelly, these will be a great resource. Kelly is like the best counselor in New York. Where are you in New York, Myra? Because she upstate.
I'm in the Hudson Valley.
Y'all might be pretty close.
Yeah.
I'm gonna connect you and Kelly. Kelly's
Okay.
she's up in the cold right now. So I can't wait to see her when she come and thaw out. So yeah, she's in the upstate. So thank y'all for joining us. This has been a great conversation, Myra. I really honor you
And
because a lot of people don't want to talk about it or they won't come forward and really give their opinion. And I think it's important that we give our opinion, right, y'all? That we talk about the hard things, the hard topics, and
yeah.
that we support each other and that we love on each other. On Thursdays, y'all, we have our therapy. It's on Zoom every Thursday night at 7 p.m. So I would love for y'all to come to that. We got a lot of upcoming things. We got our military sexual trauma retreat that's coming up in April for Sexual Assault Awareness Month. So if y'all are interested in coming to that, it is April 17th through the 19th. I would love for y'all to join us or share with someone that is a military sexual trauma survivor. And then we also have our sunset voyage. We are going on a yacht and look at the sunset, and we're going to party and dance, and we're going to have a silent auction, and it's going to be a fundraiser for Hush No More. So we're really excited. And Coco Wicks, I'm talking about Coco Wax because it's the wax, but Coco Wicks, she is going to donate candles and be our sponsor for the yacht. So I'm very grateful for everyone that supports us. If you need anything, reach out to Hush No More, hushnomore.org. Follow us on our social media platforms. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us, 888-285-2161. And we're here. We're here to love on you. We're here to support you and to do what we can to bring love and kindness to the world because that is important. Okay. Peace and blessings to you all. And
And I'm in Cornwall, right outside of Newburgh.
so y'all close? Are y'all kind of close?
I don't know where Queensbury is.
Because she in the country. Yeah, and Kim does she has an organization called Hearty Hands Foundation. And so with
Mhm.
the epilepsy community, I think that will be amazing to use it. Because you do have anxiety when you're going through a seizure or coming out of it. So that's a good one. All right. Peace and blessings, beautiful. Peace and blessings. And
Thank
she's
you.
there, George. She's up there. We're gonna try to do a retreat up there, actually. Not in the winter though. So peace and blessings to you all. And I appreciate you from stopping in and just saying hi. And please follow Myra, y'all. follow her, support her organization, and know that she is phenomenal. And if you know someone that needs training for the organization or even law enforcement, she does an amazing job training law enforcement, because they do need to be a little bit more nice and kind and understand grounding and the holistic ways to help victims. So y'all reach out. Peace and blessings to you, and just know that you are loved. Peace.